Good morning. Welcome to the John Mendola Show here at WILK, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers, 10:03 in the morning. Well, we got a lot of great things to talk about. Hey, happy Christmas Eve, happy Hanukkah today. We got a lot of great studio guests today. And, of course, it's a day of family and friends and a day to talk a little bit about local sports as we do each and every Saturday morning here on the John Mendola Show. Well, we got some great guests coming up. The Pasone family's in here, so we're going to talk some wrestling in a little bit. Matt Wotherspoon's going to join us towards the bottom of the hour. Then, of course, Gary Williams is going to talk a little bit about Nanticoke softball, some of those state championship runs that they had at Nanticoke. So we'll talk about that coming up here momentarily here on the John Mendola Show. Well, first up, let's talk right now with the Schubacks. Mike and Shane Schuback in studio with us this morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. What's going on?
How are you? Well, Merry Christmas.
Christmas to you too, buddy.
All right, you guys are ready to go, and let's talk a little bit about the excitement that you have, Shane. A decision recently for you, so tell us about that next step for you.
Yeah, we had a real big decision to make. Well, I did, but I had the help of my family and friends behind me in every which way. We chose the University at Albany. Great place to play football. They got definitely a great program coming up. They were definitely in need of a linebacker. One of the top players they had is leaving, so they thought I can come in right away and take the start. They told me two things I got to do them things, and we'll be all right.
All right. Well, I'm pretty sure what those two things are going to be. What you're doing out there on the field has been incredible. Let's talk about the experience for you at Lackawanna College.
Oh, I mean. It's so big there, it's a big thing. It turns people into men there, you come in, you're thinking it's one thing, and when you wake up at 7 o'clock every day for breakfast, and then in the fall and in the spring when you got to get up for the 6 o'clock runs in the gym, it really builds you. And then when you see the guys to the right and to the lefty, and you see, wow, they're working too, they're pushing just as much as you, it almost builds a brotherhood there. So and it's very, very, very competitive. It's very well. Coach Duda does a great job with all the players. He really rallies to us. We listen to everything him and all the coaches say. Almost, it's unreal.
And listening to everything you just said, let's bring in your dad, Mike Shouback. And, Mike, welcome in today. Mike, I think everything Shane just said is, he goes through it. You're a football coach. You're a football player, Mike, back in the day. And, of course, you know this stuff. But having somebody go through it, it's a little different than you just saying, okay, this is what you got to do. Go do this and then go do that. You got to experience it, and that's what Shane did.
Yeah, John, it's a different part of the experience as a parent and as a coach, because you got to learn to separate it, and some guys can, some guys can't. The biggest thing we found is Lackawanna did a marvelous job of making young guys into men. The competitive nature, like Shane spoke of, the amount of talent that comes through there, people are overlooked for one reason or another, and then when they get there, there's a cumulative group of talent that obviously stretches across the country. They got guys at Oklahoma, guys at Arizona State, guys at Maryland. I mean, the coaching staff does a phenomenal job for their players. When you work hard for them, they're going to work hard for you. And the one thing that Shane always put out there, and a lot of the people that know him personally, is what Lackawanna brings to you is, and what we bring to Shane brought to them, is a love of the game. You will find out if you love football or not. And that's one thing that a lot of kids don't realize in the high school level. It's one thing to play, but it's another thing to have passion to play. And we try to institute that in all our players at Old Forge. And all our kids that graduated that class, we call the Perfect Storm class, they were a unique group of kids that have a passion for the game. And all of them, there's no surprise that they're all successful because they have that passion to play. And it's almost unique. It's a unique situation to be in. As a coach, as a father, I'm very proud of Shane. There's things that we got to build on. There's expectations now that he has to go to a Division I school and play at a high level again. And it's no secret that we're all excited and all proud of him, but it's another step in the journey of playing college football and getting a great education nonetheless.
Shane, the guy next to you, I'm sure, has meant a lot to you to have the success you've had. Talk a little bit about that relationship that you have with your dad. It's probably different than most son-dad relationships. You guys have a working relationship, probably in school when you were in school, outside of school with football, and then outside at the business. I mean, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I always looked at him as more of a coach than a father. It's kind of funny. He's still to this day on my phone. I have him as Coach Mike in my phone. I don't have him as Dad. So I look at things a different way. He every time I needed something, he was there. Almost like that uncle, whoever, the cool uncle who did everything for you, who didn't tell your parents and kept everything quiet. That's how he kind of was. He been through me with everything. He's been helping me out since day one. Ever since I was at Lackawanna, even at Old Forge. I mean, there's been times, I'm not gonna lie, at Old Forge where threw my helmet at him and said, I'm done with this. I don't want to deal with you no more. There was definitely a few of those days, but that just definitely helped pave the road for us. If somebody was to do a 30 for 30 on us, man, there'd be a lot of laughs, there'd be a lot of tears, there'd be a lot of stuff.
There would be. That'd be a good one.
But as far as our relationship goes, I couldn't ask for him for anything else. If there's anything I need instantly, he's on it. It'll be here in the next day or so. But from the game, he's just taught me so much from being, younger and being around him and the team and stuff, watching him play. There's just some few rules that, I think that we were just taught when we were younger about the game that the kids these days don't know. He really forced on us that if you play hard for 4 quarters and you run to the ball, good things are going to happen. Like one game I had 4 fumble recoveries because I was just running to the ball every play, and things like that. It's weird to look at because a father, he has his job at home, and then when he's at coaching, he has his coach job. So it's hard to kind of balance those out. So we were kind of able to mix it in the middle and make it flow even for a good little bit there, and it was fun.
Flow it did, that's for sure. We're going to continue the conversation with the Schubacks here on the John Mendola Show, and of course the Pissones coming up here on Christmas Eve here, 2016. Let's give you some locations. You can pick up our basketball preview magazine. They are out and about right now. For Dallas area, head to Monk Heating. For Tunkhannock, Frank's Rocat State Farm. For Lackawanna Trail, Lex Pharmacy. Abington Heights, head over to Brown's Gym and Clark Summit. For Mid-Valley, want to thank Michael Griffin State Farm. For Lakeland, Garth Eastat State Farm. Valley View, Fred Forte State Farm. For Lakeland, Beston's Auto Body. For Dunmore, Jen Ricky Loophole. For Holy Cross, head over to Holy Cross High School. Mendocino Specialty Store also has some magazines located on Sanderson Avenue. Electric City Baseball in Scranton. Want to thank the Cody Barace basketball tournament. That one is in August. And West Scranton, Vincenzo's Pizza, Scranton Prep, Rinaldi Auto Sales. For Riverside, Dr. Ken Sebastianelli. Of course, you could stop into our Carol and Janelle in the Takeaway Kitchen, and also Ravello's Pizza right across the street to grab our basketball preview magazine. We come back here on the show. We'll continue a little bit more with the Schubacks, the Pissones on deck, Gary Williams a little later in the show, Matt Wotherspoon joining us today as well. So I hope you're enjoying your holiday today. Get out there and finish up your last-minute shopping. Of course, a lot of family here, and that's why we have all these families in today. Talk a little bit about the camaraderie and what they've meant to us here on the John Mendola Show. We'll head on out to our local State Farm insurance agent, Jen Ricky Loophole. Break like a good neighbor. Jen Ricky Loophole is there. We'll be back on WILK. Welcome back to the John Mendola Show here at WILK, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Continuing that conversation with the Schubacks, Mike and Shane in studio with us. And, hey, guys, let's talk a little bit about that recruiting process for you. Shane, talk about some of those first offers. And I think the big one seemed to be Mississippi State, and then how things kind of fell into place and why you decided on Albany. I know you talked a little bit about it, but take us through kind of that recruiting process for you.
The recruiting process, what used to be my enemy, now it's my best friend. Coming out of high school, it was definitely going to be a challenge getting recruited. Had a few schools give me a couple preferred walk-ons, Rutgers and Penn State. But, we went down to Shippensburg. I even seen that wasn't for me. So then, we came to LAC, and then, how the performance I had there. But as far as recruitment goes from there, it was something interesting. I'm not even going to lie to you. I used to love going to class and getting paged out of class because, the Pitt coach was there or the Maryland coach was there or the Penn State coach that came in to check you out. It's interesting, and you definitely get to look at things in a different perspective, and I'm not gonna lie, I play the game. It's mainly a business too. So if they don't like the way you're looking and they don't like the way you're handling yourself, they're not gonna waste their time with you. So you really have to be professional when you're talking to these coaches. Definitely can't veer them the wrong way. And the best thing I can say is, even if it's a school that you're not interested in, like a little D2 school, our coaches preach us all the time, you be nice to them, because you don't know who that coach is. So it's a very interesting and hard process. You definitely just got to be patient. That's the biggest thing I told my dad. When I was getting recruited my first year of LAC, it was very difficult. I looked at him and said, man, I don't even want to play anymore. Crazy that a guy like me said I didn't want to play anymore, but it was just how it was, and I had to wait my turn with the recruitment and stuff. But it definitely held off. Mississippi State was definitely big in the beginning of the year before, the season even started. They had offered me. The communication level between me and them wasn't as well as I wanted it to be. It was definitely a little, not sketchy almost, but it wasn't a lot. But then Albany came in, and they just sat down. Coach Gattuso, I love him for this. He sat right down next to me and went, "Shane Schuback, huh?" He's like, "What do I got to get you in some purple?" So I started laughing. I was like, "I don't know, but you and Coach Nate you're doing your job, because you're not making it easy on me." So, but at the end of the day, I have some family things going on at home. So I talking over with my dad. It's better to be closer, a little bit closer to home. It's 2 hours away. That's a lot further than 15 hours away. And it's going to be good because I'm close to home. I could come home on the weekends if I need to. And hey, it's D1 AA ball. Albany plays some great teams. They play Villanova, they play Buffalo, they play Richmond. Those are some good competitive teams that they have good players on there where, it's not just, okay, let's go beat this team by 50 and then we'll call it a day, So It was, it's a big thing.
And heavy recruiting in this area. Mike Shoubeck, how about your role in the whole recruiting process for Shane? Did you kind of take a step back, and Coach Duda kind of took a little bit of that role as well as the coach? How involved were you?
Yeah, Coach Duda and I, we stayed in constant contact with his recruitment. And obviously Coach Duda knows at the high school there's guys going to come in, obviously not as profound as guys that are going to come into Lackawanna. But he told me, he said, "Mike, keep your line of communication open as much as possible. Put out as much film as you can. Just leave them my number and leave them my contact information." And we did that. We had quite a few Division I AA schools in the spring before this season started contact us. Shane obviously did a lot on his own. He communicated very well with a lot of the coaches. And, it all falls to place. And it is a very, very stressful thing. 1 minute you're getting an offer. The next minute there's no communication. The next minute they call you, want to bring you down. And the next minute, it's 5 schools are asking you the same weekend to come visit. So as a young man, it's very stressful to make a decision. It's very stressful to look at it and try to say what's the best place for me at the time in my life. And we try to tell the same thing to our players in the high school, too, that when the coaches come in, you don't know who they know. And if your academics can't fit that school, but he could pick up the phone and call a colleague and say, "Listen, I got a young man here at Old Forge, or I got a young man at Lackawanna that really could fit your criteria," it'd be worth your while to take a look at him. And the recruitment thing is, some parent, there's not some, I take that back. There's a lot of parents that don't understand that at all. And to be involved in high school football for 20 years and to see this experience for the last couple years at Lackawanna with my son, there's so many things that go into it that I think people are overlooking.
Yeah, a lot to look at, that's for sure. And congratulations, guys. We appreciate you coming in. Shane, any family traditions going on this weekend that you look forward to?
Yeah, actually later on today, we're going over to my dad's mom's, my grandma's, and she makes this awesome fish with Ritz crackers on it. I honestly, John, I get it once a year, and I cannot wait to eat like 8 pieces of it.
All right, we'll go get it. How about for you, Mike? What are you looking forward to this weekend?
Well, we're just being with my kids and my family and everything like that. And it's there's a lot of things to be thankful for, John, and there's a lot of things that people take for granted. And just to be a part of it and to have these opportunities are special. And we say it a lot, make memories and take a lot of photos, everyone, and enjoy it, because you never know, nothing's guaranteed.
You got it. Hey, I'm grateful to have you guys come in today here on Christmas Eve special, and we appreciate everything that you guys are keep working for, which is family, fun, and having some football, some great times, and of course continued success. And enjoy your New Year as well.
Hey, thank you. Merry Christmas.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. The Shubacks, Mike and Shane. Of course, Shane headed to the University of Albany to play some football. 10:21 here at WILK. The Pasone family will be in next. Of course, Matt Wotherspoon on the way. Gary Williams. We're going to talk about that state championship run for softball in Nanticoke. They were recently honored there at Nanticoke for the basketball team. Kind of honored them at halftime. All right, Manuka Subaru is a place you can pick up a copy of our basketball preview magazine. Manuka Subaru, it's all we do. Pittston area. Head over to Joe Blazosic, an attorney there in West Pittston. Wyoming area, you can head over to Dr. Patrick Adnasio. For Plains, head over to Sheehan's Pharmacy. That's the location there. Valley Garment Care located in Plains. Danko's All-American Fitness, Popple Construction, and any of the McCarthy Tire locations. Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Kingston, and Hazleton. We come back here on the John Mendola Show. We're going to talk a little bit of wrestling and a little bit of baseball as well. Let's head out now to our local State Farm insurance agent, Fred Forte. Break like a good neighbor. Fred Forte is there. We'll be back on WILK.